This is Kelly Michalko, and I'm speaking today with Mrs. Madge Bailey at the River Heights Lodge in North Battleford, and today is July 16th, 1985. And Mrs. Bailey, maybe you can tell me a bit about your family in London before you came to Canada, and maybe describe your experiences coming to Canada after that.
Well, my mother and father were Devonshire people, but had moved to close to London, and so when the Reverend Barr was trying to get people to come to Canada as the Barr Colonists, why, my father was very interested because he was really just about ready to go to the islands in the south of Australia. Very interested in coming to Canada, and eventually we came early to Canada in January of 1903 for Christmas dinner. She's often told us.
Do you remember the name of the ship that you came on?
It should be in some of the papers. However, we came to Saskatoon, where my father was to be the advance agent for the Barr Colonists, and purchase horses and wagons and harness and things like that for when the Barr Colonists came in March. When he got there was no authority or no money for him to do that. So after going back, I believe he went to Winnipeg, and there was no money there. So as his job wasn't able to be done, well, he came on to Battleford.
What happened in Saskatoon that your father wasn't able to get the money?
Well, eventually they found out that Barr had skipped to the United States with the money, or later it was proven that he didn't really have very much money, but he was not very favored by the Barr Colonists, and he left anyway. So my father came on to Battleford, and after living there for a while, he took up a homestead between North Battleford and Brada, about halfway to Brada. And we lived there for a time, but he couldn't find water on that farm, so he afterwards rented a lot of property below what is now our underpass and the river. And we lived there a great many years. He built a log house for us, and we came to school from down over the hill towards the Goose Pond for quite a number of years. And we went to public school, and later he bought another property further west, and then we had to drive. So that's when I went to high school.
And what schools did you attend while you were in North Battleford?
Well, I believe it was the first school I attended was the old King Street School, which had, I believe, 1907 on it, but I don't believe we went there until 1908. And our mayor, Jim Maher's mother, was one of my first teachers. Later after that, we went. I forgot that before I went to the old King Street School, there were two schools on 100th Street, a little bit south of what is now the old police barracks, and Victory Motors. Later I went to Connaught School, and from there into high school.
Who was your principal at Connaught School, do you remember?
Mr. Lawrence was our principal, Mr. I.A. Lawrence, and we all thought the world of him. But probably the best teacher I ever had was a Miss Melbourne, and I don't believe I ever had any teacher that could excel her. In high school then, there was the old, we called it the collegiate in the old days. I went there and went to high school, and then later went to Saskatoon to, well, we call it Teachers College, but there wasn't such a thing then. We were posted in 1919, just after the flu, all over Saskatoon. But I was lucky enough to be one who was in a big common room belonging to the boys in the university. There were 112 of us sitting in 3 seats for 4 of us. And another lucky break for the girls was that we had all the boys.
Any students from North Battleford that you knew that were at the teacher's school in Saskatoon?
Yes, but I've forgotten them. There was my best friend. My best friend and I, Beatrice Adamson, and I boarded together when we went to Teachers College.
And after you graduated, what was your first teaching assignment?
Oh, yes. After I graduated from we called it normal school, I had a school out of Edam, and it was called Blackfoot School. And one of the things that used to rather amuse me was that every now and again somebody would come to the school looking for lost cattle. It was surprising how many cattle were lost, because as far as I could figure out, they only came to see what the teacher looked like. So I only stayed there until fall, and after that taught 1 or 2 other schools. But I taught again at Clavette, a very fine school, and we had wonderful luck there in winning a big trophy from 75 other schools, and also winning a cup in competition with Saskatoon. So we were very proud of that. Then I came back home and taught Brada School for 3.5 years before I was married.
What was Brada like at that time? Like today, it's basically an elevator, and that's it.
Well, that's just about what it was now, but there's no school there even. No, it was just when I first went there was a store and a post office and an elevator. And it's deteriorated, I might say, since then. No school. It was a very heavy school. I had about 44 children, and all grades, of course, as we did in the old days. And then I got married.
And what year was that?
And I got married in July the 7th, 1926. And my husband was Walter H. Bailey, and he farmed in the Highworth district, where we lived for some 11 years.
Were you married right in North Battleford?
Yes.
What church were you married in?
Anglican Church in North Battleford.
Oh, yeah. And who was the pastor at that time?
Was the Reverend I.J. Jones, a very well-known minister in North Battleford at that time, and in fact since. He was a wonderful man.
Maybe you can comment a bit about your other brothers and sisters and some of the things they did in North Battleford.
Yes, I forgot to say that in our family we were 4 English-born. I was not quite 3 years old when I came to Canada, and I had 3 brothers. And later on there were 4 more in our family, and making 8 altogether. And everybody, it seemed to me, went on as far as they could at school and did very well afterwards.
And one of your brothers owned the May grocery store.
Yes. Well, at first, the store that my brothers owned was called May Brothers. Later on, 1 or 2 of those went off into other businesses, and my brother Joe and his son Alan May continued the store for some 50 years before they sold out to the Indian Métis, what was it called?
I think it was the Friendship Center at that
Friendship
time.
Center, yes.
And your sister also owned a store too, right?
Yes. And then one of my sisters, who had worked over the years quite often, especially during the war, when help was so hard to get, opened a store of her own opposite McKittrick School called the Star Grocery. Her husband had broken his leg and was not able to go on the road again as he was a traveler. They carried on the store until he passed away in 1965. And as I had lost my husband in the meantime in Toronto, I came back to be with my sister and help her with her store.
Going back a few years, when you were married in 1926 and you moved out to the Highworth area, maybe you can tell me a bit about some of the Depression years there. It was pretty bad, and what happened out of that.
Well, well, at first I think things went pretty well. After I was married, we had fair crops, but then the Depression really hit the whole West, and either we had no crop or it was dried out or something. But we went for several years with practically not enough to pay for the gas bill. And although we'd had horses to begin with, working the fields and that, but later on we had a tractor, and that helped things along as far as, but the crops wouldn't even pay for the gas bill. And then we had a really bumper crop. I don't remember quite which year it was, but it would be probably 1935, but I'm not positive. And we had 10,000 bushels of wheat, which was a big crop then, because farms were not as large as they are today. And we had 5,000 bushels of barley and 5,000 bushels of oats. We got 28 cents a bushel for the wheat, and if you sent oats or barley to Winnipeg, you had to pay the freight ahead of time, because usually it's sold for less than the freight. So that wasn't a very good deal. So my husband then went into pigs because we had so much barley and oats. That, when you think about selling a whole 200-pound pig for about $3 or $3.50, it was not very not very much in the line of money, a money maker. So that died a natural death. And in 1937, we just lost everything we had and left Highworth.
When you sold out, where did you go to after?
Well, we didn't, in a sense, sell out. We lost it. It was money we owed on the land and the bank or whatever. They just closed in on you, and we lost everything we had. Then, with a few dollars we had, we went to Flin Flon, because there was always work there in the mines. And much as I hated to think of my husband working in the mines, that's what he did for a little while. Then while we were 2 years in Flin Flon, we left there and went to Geraldton. And while in Geraldton, my husband met up with Chappell's Limited, who had a store there, but also a big one in Fort William. So he convinced my husband that he would like him to go and manage the farm in Fort William. Of course, farming down there was not like farming in the West. If you had a 20-acre field of wheat, you were doing well, where we had hundreds of acres in the West. So we were on the farm there for quite some number of years. My boys finished public school. We had three sons, and they went on to high school and later on farther than that. Well, at after Fort William, we went to Toronto. In the meantime, my husband had bought a patent for a tire changing machine, and so he was on his own. And he did very well in that, and we went to Toronto because there were more people in Toronto than there were in the whole West, so sales were much better. And my eldest son, he went on and became a chartered accountant. My second son, Jack, he joined the Air Force at 18 and spent 24 years with the Air Force. And my youngest son was still at home going to school.
Just to go back a few years, when you left North Battleford or the Highworth area, did most of your family stay on in this area?
Oh, well, yes. My mother and father never left here. And my brother Joe, who had the store, he never left. And my sister never left or went anywhere else but North Battleford. But Ed, my brother just younger than I was, he was a teacher and went to B.C. and in the war became, because he had 3 or 4 children, he was not allowed to go overseas for the war, but he did all the recruiting between the American border and Prince George. And then my youngest brother, he moved to Wainwright, and because they bought another store in Wainwright, he was still with May Brothers, so to speak, and he had bought a store there, and then moved to a larger place, which had been owned by one of the big chain stores. I can't remember which one it was now, but it was one of the big chain stores, because during the war they closed up all their small stores because they had no one to run them. So he was able to buy that and have a much better location, and he had a growing family who helped in the store all the time, and so he made very well in Wainwright.
So while you lived in Toronto, all your family did stay in North Battleford. So after your husband passed on, you had another job in Toronto, I believe.
Yes.
You can tell me about that.
Well, after a lot in Toronto, I still stayed, and I got myself a position as a kind of companion and teacher to a millionaire family who's had everything that you could think of. But this girl, I don't know whether she had been injured at birth or what, but wasn't just quite normal. However, she and I got along very well, and I stayed with them for over 2 years. And then my sister lost her husband in North Battleford in 1965 and wanted me to come out pardon me, and be with her, which I did, and in 1965. So I've been back west now 20 years.
What was your impression when you came back to North Battleford? About 30 years, 25 years?
But I had come back several times during the period to see my mother and father, you know. I've been able to get back again. But I was very happy to be home. North Battleford has always been and will always be home to me.
So, Mrs. Bailey, when you came back to North Battleford and worked with your sister, how long did you work in the store for?
Well, I worked with my sister for about 3 years, and then she sold the store.
Mm-hmm. And you continued to live in North Battleford?
Very far away, only about 3 or 4 houses away. And we lived there for, I believe, 9 years.
What was the address?
1471, 101st. And after that, I was able to get into the high-rise when the 2 senior citizens buildings were built sooner than my sister, who had, was a little better fixed and so on. And She wasn't able to get there, but she got the last. Both lived together in the high-rise, and well, she stayed there until she got ill, and then her daughter came and took her back with her to not Vancouver, yes, oh dear.
Victoria?
Victoria, yes, and there she is now. But my sister is very ill. They don't expect her to get along, for very much longer. First she got Alzheimer's disease, you see. That was what really set her back. Champion bridge player, duplicate bridge. That's a little different from ordinary bridge that you play at home. And a lot of people used to ask us why it was we could live together and never fight. And I said, because I didn't play bridge. That was about the truth, too. Because what she and her partner called each other sometimes, wasn't pretty. Exactly. Not
so
friendly.
You spent most of your retirement years in North Battleford. Would you say it's been a pleasant place to live?
Oh, I would say that anybody that's giving up their home to go to, well, I was in number 1 high-rise, and I can only speak for that one. But I was so upset to think I couldn't go back. See, I paid my rent the first 4 months I was in the hospital. And I went back then, and I only lasted a month. And when I went back into the hospital again, they didn't think I was going to live even. So I heard a few weeks later. So I thought, well, if I'm in that condition, I better not start paying my rent again. I won't even want the place. And so anyway, that's the way it happened. But I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I would love to go back to the high. I wonder what I'm doing in here lots of times. See these before, maybe I shouldn't be saying that over though. But, you can't talk to very many people in here. You just take about a dozen in the west side, and they're about the only ones you can have a conversation with. The blind man and I go and sit with him sometimes and talk, because people kept saying to me, why don't you go and talk to Mr. Chelmer? That he's, he's blind 3 years. He hasn't told me yet. And I understood that he went to the doctor with his eye, and he took his eye out, and then some or other, the other one went too. But he's a very nice man. But, lots of times I wish to heaven I was back in the high-rise. Well, not lots of times, all times. I just loved it there. We have a manager that just can't be equaled, and a caretaker and his wife. Just lovely. When my son used to come sometimes, Jack, he'd fly into Saskatoon, rent a car, and come up. If it was winter time, they'd be in, so they'd put a big long one out so he could have his car plugged in, Nothing is too much trouble for them to do for you.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Bailey.
Don't know how I could be so lucky.